Alright, so we're ready to start mapping the accounts and tax rates in A2X. And so I'm going to walk you through the process. So normally when you log in and create a new account, it's going to look like this. You're going to see select account, select tax rate. It's all going to be empty. You're probably not going to see any data populated like you see on my screen now. So the question becomes, okay, what are all these fees? How do I handle them? How do I map it? Can you help me? And so it took me a while to really get a handle on all the different fees and what's Amazon doing. Frankly, it's pretty confusing. Order item fees, commission, refund item fees, commission, refund item fees, refund commission. It's kind of mind-boggling, all the different types of transactions they created. So to sort of help with this procedure, what we did for our clients is we created an account mapping template. Just bring these side by side for a second. What I tried to do is I created a spreadsheet where on the very first column I have these main transaction type categories. For example, adjustments, Amazon delivery and support, commissions and selling fees. You'll see all these here. And then what I tried to do is I tried to collect all the individual transactions that I could find across all of my clients for each of these transaction groups. And then scooting over a little bit to the right here, what I do is I show you, okay, this is the exact zero account and tax type that I would map it to. And then I give you a little bit of a description. A lot of people have no clue what's going on with Amazon and what they're charging. So I'd say in that regard, I have a limited understanding as well. So this is my best understanding of what's going on with these transactions and what they're for. So essentially all you need to do is when you come over to A2X, you're in the commission and selling section, you find Amazon.com, order my item fees commission. You go to Amazon.com, order my item fees commission, and the account is 50150, Amazon seller fees FBA tax on purchases. And you see that's exactly what I have here. So this mapping tool is going to be very, very vital. Go ahead and check that in the course documents and resources. And once you fill everything out, be sure, made the mistake of not hitting save mappings. Go ahead and hit save mappings. And what I'm going to plan to do is keep this A2X mapping template up to date as best as I can. Granted, Amazon will release new transactions all the time, so that's a little bit of a disclaimer. Feel free to reach out to me if something happens that you don't see on the mapping template. But at the end of the day, feel free to use context clues. For example, if it's in commission selling fees, it's almost always going to be, the same coding. So anyhow, this is how you map the template. Once you map this template, what you're going to end up wanting to do is come over to settlements. And what you're going to see is this taxes and accounts icon is going to show up in blue. And that means once the tax and accounts are all in blue and there's no red, then they're ready to send over to zero. You can send over one by one, or you can enable a bulk actions and so send all the sales over at the same time. Essentially, that's a wrap in terms of how to set up A2X. You set up the APIs, you make sure all your settlements are imported. The next video is going to help you troubleshoot if they're not importing correctly. But then what you do is you get the settings optimized, you get the accounts and taxes mapped correctly based on the mapping tool, and then you send it over to zero. And maybe the final thing you might want to do now that you have accounts and taxes mapped is you'll go over to taxes, you'll go over to settings, you go to auto invoicing, and you'll enable the auto posting of the settlements now that you have the accounts and taxes mapped. So that's really the sum total of A2X. And the only thing is from time to time, as you see a new transaction, you might need to log in and come into accounts, taxes, make sure maybe update a missing line item. But very little maintenance, not much at all. Thanks so much for joining the course. I hope you got a lot of value. Feel free to check out the bonus content. I think you'll find some good stuff in there. All right, thanks so much.